Senhoras e senhores, bom dia. Em nome do Consulado Americano, através do seu Serviço Comercial, da Associação Comercial de São Paulo e da Sociedade Brasileira de Varejo e Consumo, temos o prazer em recebê-los no evento A Inovação no Varejo, internacionalizando sua empresa com foco no mercado norte-americano. Hoje teremos uma palestra com foco na inovação, incremento dos seus negócios e internacionalização. Ao final da palestra, daremos início às reuniões individuais na Sala Henry, no 12º andar, nos seguintes temas. Para investimentos: arranjo tributário para pessoa física e jurídica nos Estados Unidos, benefícios para estabelecer sua empresa no mercado norte-americano, expatriação de executivos e vistos para residir nos Estados Unidos, e processo de abertura da sua empresa nos Estados Unidos da América. E importação e exportação: como negociar no mercado norte-americano, com os grandes varejos e com global sourcings, encontrar compradores nos Estados Unidos ou encontrar fornecedores norte-americanos. E o terceiro item, inovação para as reuniões, inovação com foco em crescimento no mercado interno. Você que agendou suas reuniões e recebeu a confirmação, por favor, siga sua grade. Você que não solicitou reuniões e tem interesse, ao final do evento, por favor, também se dirija ao 12º andar. A equipe do Consulado Americano acomodará suas reuniões, repetindo, investimentos. Acho que vai vir no outro microfone. Repetindo, então, e investimentos: arranjos tributários para a pessoa física e jurídica, benefícios para estabelecer sua empresa nos Estados Unidos, expatriação de executivos e vistos para residir nos Estados Unidos e processo de abertura de empresa. Importação e exportação: como negociar no mercado norte-americano, encontrar compradores nos Estados Unidos ou encontrar fornecedores norte-americanos. E inovação com foco em crescimento no mercado interno. Agora tenho o prazer de apresentar o senhor Nelson Queirala, vice-presidente da Associação Comercial de São Paulo.
Muito obrigado, Renato. Bom dia. Em primeiro lugar, quero agradecer a Miss Kenia Somerville, cônsul comercial dos Estados Unidos aqui em São Paulo, ao Mr. Hitendra Patel, nosso palestrante, ao Manuel Mendes, diretor executivo da ACSP Center, e ao Ronaldo Nossig, vice-presidente do SBVC, Sociedade Brasileira de Varejo e Consumo, que vem dar o apoio a esse nosso evento. E quero principalmente agradecer a todos vocês que estão aqui presentes, que vieram nos prestigiar, vieram aqui participar desse evento para se atualizar o que vem acontecendo no mundo do varejo. Quero lembrar que amanhã teremos novamente mais uma segunda parte aqui do nosso evento, mais uma palestra, e esperamos aí contar com a presença de todos vocês. A Associação Comercial de São Paulo, ela é uma entidade que está completando 123 anos, é a maior associação comercial dentre as 2.300 associações comerciais existentes hoje no Brasil, e vem desenvolvendo um trabalho todos esses anos, inclusive com as 420 associações comerciais aqui do Estado de São Paulo. Temos todo ano participado de eventos internacionais, inclusive agora em janeiro próximo, vamos completar aqui a nossa 10ª comitiva para a NRF, para o Big Show, que é da National Retail Federation. É o maior congresso do varejo do mundo. E convidamos a todos que estão presentes e que tiverem interesse em estar participando conosco desse evento, que, por favor, tomem aí conhecimento. Nós vamos fazer uma pequena apresentação do que nós temos feito. Nós todo ano a nossa comitiva tem feito um programa sempre de visitar 2 cidades. Então, nós vamos ao Congresso em Nova York e visitamos também uma segunda cidade para visitas técnicas no varejo, que são feitas tanto em Nova York como nessa outra cidade. Estivemos, esse ano, fizemos uma visita a Las Vegas, que é uma cidade que se tornou um dos maiores centros de convenções dos Estados Unidos. Estivemos no ano passado em Seattle, no outro ano no Vale do Silício, em São Francisco, em Boston, e assim sucessivamente em várias cidades norte-americanas. Então, agradeço a todos vocês. Nós vamos apresentar aí um pequeno vídeo referente a esta comitiva que será realizada agora em janeiro próximo. Muito obrigado a todos.
Obrigado, Nelson. E só para lembrar que o Departamento de Comércio Americano, através do Serviço Comercial, está há 10 anos de parceria com a casa, também na NRF. Eu aproveito, então, a oportunidade para apresentar a senhora Cônsul Comercial dos Estados Unidos, a senhora Kenia Somerville.
Obrigada, Renato. E muito bom dia a todos. Gostaria de agradecer a parceria com a Associação Comercial de São Paulo e a Sociedade Brasileira de Varejo e Consumo na organização deste importante evento. Hoje teremos a oportunidade de falar de 4 assuntos bem interessantes: setor de serviços, inovação, internacionalização, investimentos nos Estados Unidos, com foco no comércio e no varejo. Nosso serviço comercial trouxe ao Brasil 3 empresas norte-americanas da região de Boston que estão participando do evento comercial do setor de serviços. São elas a ACSP, Boston Innovation Gateway e Drummond Advisors. No setor de serviços, na relação entre os Estados Unidos e o Brasil, em 2015, as companhias norte-americanas exportaram 28 bilhões de dólares ao Brasil, e a tendência é crescer ainda mais neste ano. Os principais serviços exportados foram arquitetura e engenharia, educação, financeiro, seguro, software e serviços de telecomunicações. Devido à importância do setor, organizaremos uma visita de empresas no setor de serviços do estado da Flórida, em maio de 2018. Em relação à inovação, Hoje teremos uma palestra com o professor Hitendra Patel, um guru em inovação, que demistificará o que é inovação e como podemos aplicá-la em nossas empresas. Também entenderemos como a inovação nos faz mais competitivos e de que forma ela nos ajuda na internacionalização de nossos negócios. E aqui, neste caso, a internacionalização com foco nos Estados Unidos. Finalmente, em relação ao investimento, o Brasil investiu nos Estados Unidos um monte de 23 bilhões em 2015, fazendo o país figurar entre os top 20 investidores internacionais. Os Estados Unidos, além de ser a nação que mais recebe investimentos internacionais, oferece um ambiente perfeito para as empresas brasileiras se estabelecerem, venderem ou incrementarem os seus negócios na América, bem como iniciar ou incrementar suas exportações para diversos outros mercados, aplicando tecnologia e preços competitivos no mercado internacional. Mas o que nos traz aqui hoje são as perspectivas e as tendências do varejo nos Estados Unidos e no Brasil. Em 2016, o setor teve uma retração de 4,3% no país. Assim, vamos ouvir de que forma a inovação pode ajudar as varejistas a encontrarem nos novos caminhos neste momento que atravessa o Brasil. Hoje, após a palestra, teremos nossa equipe do programa Select USA disponível para reuniões individuais com as empresas brasileiras interessadas em conhecer melhor o programa e investir nos Estados Unidos. Mais uma vez, agradecemos a presença de todos, as empresas norte-americanas, bem como a Associação Comercial de São Paulo e a Sociedade Brasileira de Varejo e Consumo, por esta significante parceria. Desejo um bom evento para todos. Obrigada.
Obrigado. Muito obrigada, senhora cônsul comercial, Kenia Somerville. E, neste momento, eu tenho o prazer, então, de apresentar o senhor Ronald Nossig, que é o vice-presidente da Sociedade Brasileira de Varejo e Consumo.
Alô? Pronto. Bom dia a todos. Vê que eu não sou muito de inovação, né? Nem o botão aqui você aperta. Mas, primeiramente, agradecer a oportunidade de estar junto com a Associação Comercial nesse importante evento. Então, em nome do Nelson Queirala, agradecer a todo o time aqui da Associação Comercial presente. Agradecer, em nome da Cônsul Comercial Quênia, o apoio do Consulado Americano e do Renato, em especial, pela nossa longa parceria. Agradecer ao Manuel Mendes e ao Mr. Patel também pela oportunidade. Para nós, é um motivo de satisfação e a gente entende aqui a importância do tema e fazer aí a comparação de uma entidade recém-nascida, aí, com 3 anos, junto com uma entidade centenária, né, que completando aí 123 anos, e que certamente terá muitos outros anos pela frente, visto que está preocupada com esse tema que hoje domina não só o varejo, mas todo o mercado, né, que é a inovação. E a gente, há pouco, tendo a oportunidade com o Mr. Patel de trocar uma conversa, ele bem colocou que esse é um processo do qual a gente não tem saída. Ou a gente se adapta, ou a gente vai morrer. Então, eu acredito que a SBVC aqui, independente desse evento, ela está também de portas abertas a todos vocês, para olharem os nossos estudos. É uma entidade focada em estudos e que busca, em parcerias como essa com a Associação Comercial, trazer mais conhecimento aos empresários para que esses desafios, como o da inovação, sejam mais facilmente superados. Então, muito obrigado, um excelente evento e contem conosco também.
Obrigado, Ronald. Antes de passar a palavra para o nosso palestrante, eu quero dar primeiro um recado, que este evento está com transmissão ao vivo para as 420 associações comerciais do Estado de São Paulo, através do sistema ACSP. E eu gostaria também de aproveitar, agradecer a presença de todos. Eu estou reconhecendo aqui diversos grandes amigos que já se tornaram do varejo. Nós temos empresários que vieram de outros estados, Santa Catarina, outros do interior de São Paulo. Temos também empresários aqui de Minas Gerais. Agradecer a presença de todos. Sem vocês não haveria o evento. E me permitam, por favor, também, nessa oportunidade, reconhecer as presenças da vice-presidente desta casa, a senhora Alessandra de Andrade. Levante a mãozinha para todos verem. O vice-presidente, o senhor Antônio Carlos Pella. Ninguém sabia que era Antônio Carlos. Eu estou contando hoje, estou quebrando o protocolo. Onde você vai, Adriana? Eu vou reconhecer você. Fique aqui. O vice-presidente Roberto Ticolar. E também a presidente da Associação Comercial de Campinas, que já ficou de pé para ser reconhecida, Adriana Flossi. Sejam bem-vindos todos, mais uma vez, muito obrigado. Então, eu vou aproveitar essa oportunidade para falar sobre o nosso speaker. É o professor Hitendra Patel, que é um líder do pensamento em inovação e um palestrante global que já discursou em diversas conferências internacionais, bem como cúpulas de executivos das maiores empresas mundiais. Como diretor da ACSP Center, ou IXL Center, uma empresa global de consultoria em inovação e capacitação com escritórios em Cambridge e Boston. Hitendra Patel não só ajudou a impulsionar iniciativas de transformação de inovação em grandes corporações como Johnson Controls, LG, ou LG, Alibaba.com, Verizon e P&G. Mas também ajudou muitas pequenas empresas em todo o mundo a criar capacidade de inovação e crescer 10 vezes mais. Ele entende e ensina como tornar a inovação em algo concreto em organizações complexas e grandes. Nos últimos 5 anos, Hitendra Patel também ajudou a construir a maior aceleradora de startups do mundo para jovens empreendedores sociais em desenvolvimento como um dos membros do conselho do Prêmio Hope, em colaboração com o ex-presidente norte-americano Bill Clinton e sua equipe. Ele também é professor de inovação, tendo lecionado para mais de 5.000 estudantes nas principais universidades de MBA e programas de educação executiva em todo o mundo. Além disso, ele é cofundador do Global Innovation Management Institute e tendo sido o principal motor de criação de padrões de testes de certificação para tornar a inovação uma disciplina de gestão no mundo todo. Hitendra Patel é líder de pensamento em inovação, com livros escritos como Greenovate, Connectivate, Healthovate, e atualmente, tem também o livro Robovate, desculpe, e atualmente está trabalhando no livro Dots. Ele também escreveu e publicou artigos sobre o tema desenvolvimento econômico no Brasil, Índia, Indonésia, Singapura, Estados Unidos e Reino Unido. Hitendra Patel possui um MBA na Kellogg School of Management. Ele possui também um BSEE da Universidade de Washington, em St. Louis, e um PhD em Ciência e Engenharia de Materiais da Universidade Estadual de Iowa. Mr. Patel, the floor is yours.
Well, we've got to make that introduction a little shorter next time. But thank you very much for having me over here, Nelson. I appreciate being invited to the event. Same thing, Ronald. Thank you for having me over here. And, of course, the U.S. Consul for organizing all this. Thank you, Ronald. So I've got an hour with you guys. I'm going to walk a little bit, so hopefully you'll get more energy and you'll appreciate the talk a little bit more. The objective of this presentation... There's the clicker. Yes, thank you. So what I want to do today is just get you guys excited about innovation, start thinking about innovation, and maybe it'll inspire you to do something more and different than what you've been doing yesterday. Well, I want to set up the challenge. I'm going to talk about some of the disruptive forces that are going on in your industry. And then I'm going to talk about the breakthrough ideas. How do you generate ideas for change? And then how do you actually implement them? And I'll hopefully go about 20 minutes, about 15 minutes on each one of the topics. Okay? So here's the standard story. You've seen that those companies who don't innovate will eventually die. You're familiar with Kodak. You're familiar with Motorola. You're familiar with Blockbuster. I'm sorry, but those were great companies. They were great in everything they did. And if you ask Kodak in 1980, would they be around for the next 100 years? They believed, of course, they would. I used to work at Motorola, and we made everything. We were #1 in market share in cell phones, #1 in market share of microprocessors, #1 in everything you can imagine. But if you don't pay attention, the world changes. And if you don't change with the world, next second, you're gone. And the whole message over here is even the greatest companies with the greatest leaders who are really aware of what's going on, unfortunately, they get surprised. And you guys are entering an incredible time in our society where change is happening even faster than ever before. Just as a background, when I used to be at Motorola, we used to forecast in 1990. We used to forecast what the world's going to look like in the future. And then we would try and invent that future. So we would say the world will need flat screen TVs. And we'd say, great, when do we think we can make them? So everything we forecasted happened. Every single thing we said was going to happen in the future did happen. But we missed it in terms of how soon it was going to happen. We always thought it was going to happen earlier. It took a little longer. Then in 2000, 2010, everything we forecasted what was going to happen also was on target. We knew what was going to happen. And we forecasted also the time. The time and what, and the time to do anything was exactly on target. Which brings us to where we are today. Today, everything we're forecasting is kind of wrong. It's different than what we're imagining. And it's happening much sooner. So this is for the first time, because of the internet, because of all the devices, the information is available, all the consultants, all the companies exchanging ideas, all the startups, we are moving much faster than we've ever moved before. And what took 40 years for these companies to disappear, 40 years because they were not able to adapt and change quickly, today it's taking less than 8 years and 5 years for companies to disappear. So the point over here is if you guys aren't paying attention to change, just like that, Amazon comes along and the whole book industry is gone. And you guys already know what Amazon just did recently in terms of buying Whole Foods in the US. Again, transforming what was an online business to even now having brick and mortar businesses and saying we're going to change the whole supermarket industry overnight. Similarly, Priceline in less than 5 years took over the whole travel agencies. All the companies you buy things from, Kayak or Travelocity and anything else, that's all under Priceline. Priceline owns most of them. And in less than 5 years, they basically took over the whole industry. And if you ever bought stock in Priceline, you'd have made more money than any other investment you could have made in your life because Priceline grew in a phenomenal rate. Priceline in less than 5 years. Netflix, who heard of Netflix? But 10 years ago, there was no company called Netflix. It didn't exist. And they come along and completely transform HBO, the cable industries and everything else. And today, all of you guys are watching Breaking Bad and Narcos, and you're basically watching all of it at the same time. Completely changed the whole model of retail for Blockbuster. The next second, that industry is completely gone. Less than 5 years. Airbnb in the hotel industry, they're able to basically find every hotel room everywhere. I used Airbnb in Sao Paulo. It's fun, it's exciting, it's different than going to stay in a regular hotel. And they have more hotel rooms now in Airbnb than the hotel rooms which are in New York for regular hotels. Airbnb is a bigger hotel hospitality thing overnight. And then you got companies like Apple, which changed the whole industry in terms of how they compete with Motorola and with Nokia and Samsung. 3 years. And I just want to make sure you guys understand this. In 2006, there were only 3 companies who made cell phones. There was Nokia, Motorola, and Samsung, and then some LG and some other small products. And then Apple says, I'm going to enter the market. And Apple had no right to enter a market where every company was $40 billion or bigger. And Apple had nothing. They were a $1 billion company then. And in less than 3 years, they basically destroyed Motorola and Nokia and BlackBerry. The speed of change has never been more important. If you guys aren't changing quickly, then you face the risk of being left behind. And how they're changing and how they attack you is not clear either. They come from many different places where what you thought was just something cool becomes a competitor overnight for your business. Uber. If you ask the taxi drivers of any city, would there ever be anybody who can organize the taxi industry? They'll say, no way. And Uber comes along and disrupts the whole industry in less than 2 years. So that's the fear. That if you guys don't pay attention, you're going to get left behind. But on the other side, this is the hope also and the opportunity that those who are willing to embrace this thing, this is the first time where any one of you can completely change the industry and own it. And it's a matter of taking your own leadership to do what you want to do. Does that make sense? So the question over here is, are you ready for change? And are you ready for really fast change? And are you open to that? And how do you do that? So if you don't change, here's what's going to happen to your business. Your revenue is going to start going flat. Whatever revenue you're expecting in your business is going to start going flat. But the expectation from your shareholders, expectation from your own family businesses, whoever's in charge, is to continue growing. And if your expectation is to continue growing and you don't change, then the gap will get bigger and bigger, and at some point you will die. That's the issue. So the question is, how do you fix that? And a lot of people will say, let's wait for the problem to get big enough and then we'll start fixing it. But the reality is, you got to start fixing the problem today. Because this is the picture. If there's a problem that's going to emerge in 3 years from now, you got to plant the seeds today so that the seeds can become a plant next year, and the plant can become a tree 2 years from now that you can finally harvest and capture value from it. But you can't wait and hope that you can solve the problem when the problem shows up. You have to invest in it in advance. And the problem for most people is they start a day late and they invest a dollar short. You have to start sooner. And anybody who's got a problem now, they'll probably tell you, we should have thought about it 3 years ago. The point over here is, if you haven't started doing this, planting the seeds 3 years ago, well, you better start planting them now. Because the change is coming, and the change is coming very fast. So the good news and the bad news is, as the world changes can put pressure on your own business, but the very change can also create opportunity for you. And you got to look at the change as an opportunity, not as a problem. And you got to embrace the change. And when you embrace the change, then you're most likely to be able to do something more with it. So change is a good thing. And those who actually resist the change are going to die. And those who embrace the change are going to be able to do some cool things. So what I'm going to show you is about 10 to 15 slides now. And this is supposed to excite you. It's the end of the world as we know it. You know that song? There's a song, The End of the World as We Know It. That's what I'm going to be playing now. The music's not going to be playing, but play the song in your head. And I'm going to show you the end of the world as we know it. All right? And in here, I want you to think about your businesses and how your businesses will be impacted, and then how you can think differently around it. All right. So let's begin. The 4 biggest trends that are going to change the world are 4 of the books that we've written recently. The first one is Greenovate. Green is happening, and this is the recycling, the renewable, the circular economy, where you are going to be responsible and held responsible for every single energy usage and carbon footprint and how you take care of your waste. And as a retailer, you have to pay attention to that. The second one is Connectivate. Connectivate is what they're talking about big data and the Internet of Things. Everything is connected. And because it's connected, the way we do things is going to be differently. The way we interact with customers is differently. The way we act with suppliers is going to be different. Health or weight is an interesting thing. Health has got the medical health of living longer, but there's also the health of well-being. Well-being meaning, do I feel happy? Do I feel good about myself? And that well-being in retail begins to become increasingly important. And not only are you selling a service, your product, but you have to also be delivering well-being. Well-being is now your responsibility also. Okay? And the last one is RoboWeight. This is a fantastic thing happening. The world's going to change completely. Robotics is coming. And the way the robots are going to come in your industry is they're going to make everything that you hate doing, the robot will do for you. every single thing that you can ever imagine, it's going to be replaced by robots. And it's going to come at you faster than you think. Keep that in mind. And it may be hard to believe, but the Jetsons are here. Okay? So, first one, let's look at Greenovate. In the farming industry, I just want to provoke. There are people beginning to say carbon footprint of cows, pigs is too much, and the protein production is too expensive. Maybe we should be going into insects, micro farming, micro livestock, because the amount of energy an insect takes to grow from small to full size is less than 2 weeks. The companies which have already started in the US, which are in the space, and they're basically growing locusts, crickets, and other insects, and they grind them into flour, and out of flour they get basically granola bars and other things that people can't tell they're eating insects. And you might say yuck. You might say yuck. 2 billion people eat insects. And this whole trend is coming as a very fast thing. But what it really means is it's the end of traditional farming. Behind this trend is, of course, the fear that protein from cows and pigs and other things are not healthy, or it's causing too many problems. And therefore, there's a shift. The end of farming as we see it. End of oil. This end of oil thing is happening very fast. For the first time, for 2 weeks in Germany, all the energy that came out of the wall that people were using came from the sun. 2 weeks of all the energy of a country the size of Germany came out of the sun. Now, what does that mean? Is that's a trend. If it was 2 weeks, what's it going to be this week, this year? It'll probably be 3 or 4 weeks. What will it be next 2 years from now? Probably about 3 months. But the energy is coming from the sun. And if the energy is coming from the sun with the solar, wind, and everything else, the electricity and the oil that you're using is going to change. Your very businesses are going to have solar panels. Your very businesses are going to be using non-oil to produce what you have to produce. Rethink. The end of oil is coming. End of waste. There is no more waste. If you produce waste, you're crazy. I was in Colombia, and this company basically takes other people's garbage, and it converts the garbage into energy. It converts it into recycling and picks things out with plastic and paper and steel and gold and other things. And their trash cans for garbage have locks on them. Now, you guys get this? A lock on a garbage can. What does that really mean? It means it's called money. Garbage is money now. And so if you are not thinking about the waste that you're producing and capturing it, somebody else will. But you will need a story for your consumers, how you have a total circular economy on your products and your services. You can't be creating waste, but the very waste you have, their partners will pick it up and basically make money from it. And you have a choice. Do you want to make money from it, or you let somebody else do? But you will have to do it. The end of waste. That's on recycling. In terms of health of it, health is crazy. All of us want to live longer. And there's a belief that the trends which are going in the world right now, that I will probably live to about 80 or 90 years of age because there's so much technology that I will not be allowed to die. Even if I fall down with a heart attack, they'll reboot me and they'll get me going again. But my kids will probably live to 120 because by this time, with all the medical innovations, everything else, it's going to completely change. And it's possible their kids may live forever. And this is where we are going, where life is getting extended. But in that life extension, of course, you could imagine, and you don't have to worry about this right now, but imagine if you live for 120 years and you got the same wife or husband. I like 50 years, I'm not sure 100 years, right? I don't know about that, but it's going to be interesting. Our way we live changes completely, right? But in health of weight, here are some of the trends which are coming. The first one is the end of doctors. Right now, restaurants are basically providing medical services by saying what food you should be eating. Fitbits are coming, which tells you how to stay healthy. Technology is coming, which allows you to avoid going to doctors, and technology tells you if you're going to stay healthy. It will tell you when to drink water, and I've got a friend over here, Paulo, he says his alarm goes off to tell him when he has to breathe. To take a walk, 10,000 steps, whatever. His watch tells him what he has to do. The end of doctors, because before we get sick, these devices will tell you what's going to happen. This is going to become part of your job in retail, where you start thinking, what's your health and well-being contribution for for your customers, because they're going to be asking not only is the product that I'm buying, but how else does it make me well-being, healthy. Body parts are out. We will now never wear out with body parts. We can replace them. That's the future of health. And therefore, there's no reason to say I can't play tennis anymore. I can't do something. There's no way you can complain about not being fit enough. Robots are coming that you put around your body, which allows you to stand up, sit down, lift heavy things. But body parts are coming, replacement parts. And then this one, the end of ugly. This is going to be one of the biggest retail industry going out there. Beauty is happening. There is no more ugly people. The end of ugly. It's good, right? And here, if you notice already, look at all the selfie cultures. Everybody's taking selfies nowadays. Beautiful smiles, beautiful faces. Everybody looks beautiful, right? Well, we're going to go to not only face beauty, shape beauty, and other extended beauty. But the end of ugly is here. And this is going to be really, really big as industry is coming into your world. Connectivate. How does Connectivate affect you guys? Connectivate is internet, big data, information, data analytics. You guys have heard all of that. Well, the first time, industries which are unstructured are now getting structured. And this is what Uber did and Airbnb did, where this were industries which are unstructured, and they created a value chain where you can now find a customer and you can find a supplier. Suppliers and customers can connect through the internet, through a marketplace. And that basically disrupted the whole industry. Well, that's going to happen faster and faster in every industry that you have. And they're going to compress the time from your supplier to the customer. And Alibaba, and you guys are familiar with Alibaba? Alibaba will begin to be the supplier to every consumer. They are not going to say, I'll be the factory of the world. They'll say, I'll be the factory of the world for every individual. And you got to pay attention to this thing, because no longer will you need the middleman. The middleman begins to disappear. Right? The middleman is not as important anymore. And you saw that Uber, Facebook, Alibaba, and those guys, the world is changing rapidly. The end of owning, the end of the middleman is changing out there. Customers, end of waiting. Customers are not going to wait for anything anymore. They're tired. They're so used to getting everything now. Just give you a short story. I'm teaching a class. In the middle of an MBA class, there's about 60 students there. But 10 minutes into the class, somebody knocks on the door. Knock, knock, knock. I said, who is it? Somebody walks in. And if it's a student, I'm going to give him a hard time. It's not a student. It's a guy with a pizza. He's standing there and says, who ordered a pizza? And he doesn't even look at me as the professor. He looks at the students. And one of the students puts his hand up and says, I did. And the guy walks over and puts the pizza down. He says, thanks, bud. And he walks out. Doesn't even ask for a credit card. Doesn't even ask for a signature. Payment is done. Tip is done. All done by his device, by the student. So I look at the student and say, what are you doing? And the student says, order a pizza. I'm like, but you're in my class. I'm the teacher. What are you doing? He's like, I was hungry. Right? And I'm like, are you serious? And for me, it is a complete no-no that you do that. Right? So I'm like totally shocked. And I said, but why did you do that? And he looks at me again like, what are you talking about? He says, because I can. Because I can. And this is the world you guys live in now. These guys can do things that they couldn't do before. They had to leave the room to call on a phone. Maybe the pizza will come outside, or they had to go to the pizza place. Logistics, distribution, ordering, all can be done now. And the question is, if you're not doing that in your industry, somebody else is. It's now. Today you can learn about college. You don't have to go to Harvard or MIT. You can watch YouTube and learn now. The University of Phoenix does that, right? Everything is now, the end of waiting. If you have anybody waiting, ask yourself, somebody else is going to solve the problem. End of thinking, guys. This is crazy. End of thinking. No more thinking. How many of you guys get on your car, program in where you need to go on Waze, and then Waze tells you, take left, take right, take left. And then what if your Waze device breaks in the middle of the journey? Do you know where you are? You have got no clue. You're trusting somebody else to think for you. And you trust it because it's not bad. Not bad. So end of thinking is coming. And this end of thinking is because they actually think better than you do. Waze is better than you. And therefore you trust it. Right? And Waze is coming. Alexa, you guys familiar with Alexa? Alexa has entered the house. Alexa is now my calendar, my plans, plays my music, does everything in my house. But Alexa is also the third parent in my house now. When my kids are arguing with me, I say, kids, no, the capital of Zambia is so-and-so. They're like, no, Papa, let's ask Alexa. And Alexa shows up, and Alexa is the referee. She's the third parent in my house. Right? The kids trust her more than trust me. They don't even think about this thing. But that Alexa device is already learning about you every day. And every day it learns what you ask it, and it's getting trained. As Alexa gets trained, it starts forecasting, hey, your bus is about to leave. You might want to go catch the bus. Hey, you might want to do something. Hey, you might want to go to the supermarket to buy something. And Alexa begins to be your coach in your everyday life. Are you working with Alexa? Because Alexa is going to be the one who's going to tell me what to do next. Our friends at Amazon, they also filed a patent a couple of years ago. I don't know if you know about this patent. This patent basically says we have the right to ship you something before you order it. The right to ship you something before you order it. So now you go home and there's a box from Amazon. And like, I didn't order that. So you're kind of angry because Amazon would send you something that you didn't order. So then you open the box, and when you open the box, guess what? What's in there is exactly what you want. And you're like, wow, how did they know? How did they know that? Because Alexa knows you better than you know yourself. Amazon knows you better than you know yourself. And this whole technology of digital technology and data analytics is saying that I thought I was special and I thought I was different. But I can be predicted, and I am like another 10,000 people. If my friend bought something, maybe I'll buy the same thing. And they're using all these analytics to do this. And they're saying, if you don't like what we send it back. And guess what? You say, I'll keep it. And this is the future of sales, right? It's completely changed. The end of thinking. You think, you're wrong. Let the computers think for you, and it's probably better. eHarmony, Match.com, they'll find you a better partner than finding somebody in a nightclub or at the church. Computers will do it better. All right? End of thinking. And then boredom. These guys are going to basically make sure that when you go wherever, you're going to be completely involved and energized. Right? So if they are in any retail environment or whatever, they're going to provide you entertainment. Think of Netflix. How many of you start watching Netflix at maybe 9 o'clock, series 1 of Narcos, and you watch the first one? Then what do you do next when it finishes? Oh, you watch the second one. So it says next. And the little thing comes up and says, would you like to watch the next one? So you push, of course. The second one goes through, now it's 10, 11 o'clock. Now what do? The third. Of course the third. So you push the third one. Now you know it's getting late at night and you should be going to sleep. And there's a little bit in your voice saying, go to sleep, don't watch the next one. But it's pretty cool, isn't it? And then comes 12 o'clock, you're like, one more. Right? And this one more thing happens because they know how to make you do one more. They know how to do this one more stuff out of you. Right? And then you push one more, and next second, it's like 1 o'clock in the morning. Now you're tired anyway, may as well watch the next one, 2 o'clock. And then you wake up in the morning and you're tired, you're angry, and yet you still finish off what you were watching the night before. What they know is how to keep you hooked. They know how to keep you going. And this is the same thing with Facebook. You guys keep on looking at Facebook again and again, right? It validates you. You want to see what's in there. You can't stop looking at it. Snapchat, same thing. Games, it's called gamification. Gamification has come. They understand how to keep you playing again and again and again. It's gambling. They know your psychology. And this is being applied in every part of every industry in retail now. That when you go to a casino, for example, for the slot machines, those slot machines that you're playing, how do they keep you playing again and again? They know you got money in your wallet. They want you to empty your wallet. And you must only leave when your wallet is empty. Right? That's when you should leave. And so as they watch you, as you watch the game, they're watching you. There's a camera in there. And that camera says if your eyes are getting tired, the music gets louder. They show you different things and keep you energized. It's all about keeping you there longer. Are you thinking about that in retail? Are you thinking about how to keep your customers there longer? Are you thinking of gamification? The end of games. RoboWait. This is the one which is close to my heart. Just so you know, in 1996, I did come to Brazil after my MBA. And one of my best friends in college was working at Embraco. And we started a robotics company in 1996, where robots didn't even yet exist. And this is going to happen. We started too early on this one. But here it is. The end of lights in factories. I was in a factory in LG in Korea. We helped them build the factory for making flat screen TVs. $8 billion investment to make the factory. And we went to see when the factory launched. We walk into this big building, it's like a football stadium, and we look inside from the top, and there's glass windows all the way around, and we're trying to look inside, but it's completely dark. And we're like, turn the lights on. And they're like, no lights. We're like, what do you mean no lights? You guys know why there's no lights? There's no human beings in there. It's only robots working, robots moving things around. This is the same thing as the Amazon warehouse. This is all done by robots, robots moving things left and right, and they know better. They don't need lights. Robotics in your warehouse, robotics in your factory. Moving machines. This brings us to accidents, insurance, and everything else. The end of accidents is happening. No longer will cars have accidents. Cars are being driven by autonomous robots. These are the Tesla cars, the Google cars. You might not believe that's going to happen, but it's happening faster than you think. In the next 5 years, you're going to see probably about 10 to 20% of the cars which are going to go into autonomous driving, which drive themselves. And then you see how everything else will change. How does autonomous affect you in your retail, whether it's shopping carts which drive themselves, whether it's loading devices and on and off, it's all there. Autonomous is coming. The end of accidents. Human beings are bad. These things will change everything. The end of inconvenience. This is a great story. I just want to make sure you guys understand. When the Japanese were making cars in the 80s, Toyota and Honda, they were also showing off the little robots, if you remember. Those little robots would come on and they say, here's little Aiko. And Aiko would come up and then fall over. Right? It would not be a very good robot. It would kind of dance, it would fall over. It would bring a tray, it would fall over. But why do you think the Japanese were working on that? Because they knew that in 20 years from then, there was an aging population in Japan. And as the population got older, the older people will need somebody to help them. And they said robots will be the best support for these older people because Japanese women were not getting married. So the number of children were going to be fewer. And few children taking care of 4 parents. And then on top of that, grandparents, because Japanese people live longer than most people. And so that robots. And today, those robots are ready to come to the market. And those robots are companion robots. They can do things with you. They talk to you. They play chess with you. And they say, did you take your medicine? And you say, no, I didn't. And you say, oh, and the face changes. And say, you need to take your medicine. And they begin to be companion robots. How will they interact in your stores? And they're coming, whether it's for makeup, whether it's for other stuff. They're beginning to be the human sales staff of the future. And they're coming. And you should watch the Japanese will be the first one to bring this. Okay? A lot of trends. Let me stop. I'm just going to keep on going. But you guys can understand the robotics is coming. And I want to tell one more thing about the US market in terms of the other trends which are important. All right? And this is the segments, the customer segments that are emerging in the US that you need to pay attention to. And you're kind of aware of it. And the first one is, of course, the millennials. You guys are familiar with the millennials? How many of you are millennials over here? You were born in 1984 and to 2004. Now put your hand up a little higher. Right? So even though there's not a lot of millennials in this room, these guys represent 40% of all the consumption of the world right now. They have joined the world. They're no longer entering the world. They have actually become part of our economy. And the way they act, the way they think is very different. They are not as much as owners. They like experiences. My generation would say, I will 1 year one of these years I'll go to Victoria Falls. Another year I'll go to Machu Picchu. And another year I'll go to the Taj Mahal. These guys do all 3 in 1 year. That's the millennials. They really push experiences as much as they can. But these millennials are here, and every one of your industries, every one of your retail stores is beginning to respond to it, but be aware. They're not you. Because those who didn't put your hands up, you're still designing your stores for you. And you are not the consumer of the future, of the current future. So think carefully. Millennials are different. Then there's the baby boomers. These guys are awesome. That's not me. It's a little older than me, but I'm caught between the baby boomer and the millennial. But the baby boomers are awesome because they're all about 65 years old and retiring. In the United States, they all have about $1 million in the bank account. Retirement funds. 65 million people retiring with $1 million each approximately. You guys do the calculation. 65 million dollars are going to become into the market. And what are they going to buy? They're going to buy vacation homes, experience like the millennials because they have a bucket list. They're going to die. Because they're going to die, they're going to maximize every dollar spent on, I better see the Victoria Falls and the Taj Mahal, and I better go bungee jumping, and I better buy those clothes that I didn't buy, and let me go get the gym membership, and let me buy the Viagra. Right? And you get it. These guys are going to spend the money, and if you're not going to touch their money, and you're not targeting that, shame on you. $65 million are going to come out of banks, out of 401ks, pension funds, and they're going to invest them on who? Themselves, because they're going to die. Right? So this is a really good, interesting group to go after. The next one is, of course, Hispanics. This change in the last 20, 30 years, the United States has completely transformed itself. Spanish, if you go to Miami, Miami is a Spanish city. Everybody speaks Spanish over there, from the airport all the way to the hotels to the restaurants. Spanish is there. And if you go into Chicago and you go into Boston and you go into Iowa, we have now got Hispanics in the population. These are a very different demographic. And they are increasingly becoming wealthy because everybody in the United States eventually becomes wealthy. And these guys like the rice and beans, and they like the salsa and merengue. And you better think about what products you can serve to these guys because they are not going to be like the average American of the past. We're at the end of steak and potatoes to maybe tasty salsa and avocado and other things. The world is changing, right? 50 million of them and increasing. And then there's this globalization thing which is happening, which you guys need to pay attention to. Today, I can be in Sao Paulo, or I can be in Korea, or I can be in Manila, or I can be in South Africa. If I ask you, what phone are you using? Same answer. Apple, Samsung, or something else. If I ask you, what cars are you driving? Same answers. There's probably a Hyundai, or maybe a Toyota, or maybe a Volkswagen. Same answer. If I ask you, what movies did you watch in the last 2 weeks? Same movies. We are finally the same. You may think you're different. You may think that you're Brazilian and you're very different. Sorry, we have begun to become very similar. And so therefore, your innovations over here are equally applicable anywhere in the world. In the same way, you can go global. So your innovations are no longer Brazilians. They're actually global because we have become the same. You may not like it, but we are. And we all like pão de queijo, and everybody in the world has had a churrasco. It's no longer just the Brazilians who eat churrascos. Right? We've been everywhere, in Korea, wherever. The world has changed. Global taste. And then I want to warn you about these guys. You might not know about them, but welcome the centennials. These are the new kids. Forget the millennials. We talk about the millennials. These guys are coming. These are kids. 5% of them have already, they're married. They were born from 2004 to now. Many of them are joining your workforce. These guys grew up with 5 devices. 5 devices, screens is what they grew up with. When the millennials, when you ask them a question, they say, I don't know, they Google. You know what these guys do? They YouTube. They YouTube for the answer. And this is the change. No longer are you going to read. The end of reading. Information is going to come through visual videos. And if you now see the difference, these guys are entering the market. I'll give you a simple story of my son. About 3 weeks ago, my wife makes him a nice breakfast before he goes to school. He comes downstairs, looking tired like a teenager, and looks at the breakfast and says, Mom, I don't care. I'll get my own breakfast. There's breakfast there. His mother made it. He says, I'll get my own breakfast. And he picks his phone up, and he places an order at Dunkin' Donuts for his breakfast. right? Wow is the answer, right? So I'm looking at him like, what the hell are you doing? Just like that student with the pizza, right? I'm like, really? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, but your mother made this for you. He's like, yeah, but I'm going to have breakfast with my friends. With my friends who are all going to be at Dunkin' Donuts. They'll pick up the breakfast and then they walk out to school. This is the new kids. They don't understand necessarily how the money is, but Dunkin' Donuts has entered my kitchen. Guys, get that? Dunkin' Donuts is no longer out there. It's in my house. And Dunkin' Donuts is basically a choice. Your pantry, your kitchen table, it's now everybody else's space. They're in your house, and those kids don't know the difference. You might say they're weird. You might say they're strange. It doesn't matter. They are the future customers, and you better start thinking about how to get to them. It's not about how we think. It's about how they think. Right? And that's your future customers. Have you guys seen the Centennials? They're your kids, probably. You know who they are. Right? They don't talk to you anymore, do they? Yeah. Centennials, they're crazy. So look, customers are looking for new experiences, just at high level. You guys pay attention to that. You got to be paying attention to being everywhere. You saw what our friends at Amazon did with Whole Foods. They realized that online experience is not enough. You do need some physical experiences. So they bought the Whole Foods brand. And they want to get down there. In the same way, on the other side, you've got Walmarts and others who are basically saying we're going to go online. The physical are trying to go online. There's not a correct answer. There's something in between. Who's going to win? Not clear. Amazon has got the world's best downstream logistics to distribute things to the end customer. Walmart has the world's best upstream logistics. So the logistics game that's been played out. There's the access to the customer that's been played out. So it's really important. The second thing is this customer, when he shows up in front of your store, you are used to selling your product, whatever your product is. Not anymore. You have to treat him holistically. You got to give him or her, in addition, other services. Whether it's services of hanging out with your friends. And your friends can buy things together, like my son who goes to Dunkin' Donuts. Right? Or it's something else with health and well-being. There's health and value that you get out of this thing. But you have to be able to provide holistically other solutions besides the product you're selling. It's easier. You have to be everywhere. There's a change which is happening. Middlemen are disappearing. So be careful. If you're a middleman, rethink how to become more valuable again. Social media is critical. My son believes breakfast is not with the family anymore. Dinner and lunch, you could go out. Breakfast, we didn't go out as a family. Now breakfast has left the house. This is crazy, right? Different kids. You can test your ideas quickly with this internet, online stuff, or single shelves. Testing is much faster now. So you can put things out there and test it. You do not do market research to the extent you used to. You just throw it out there and see how the market responds, and you change. You don't have to do focus groups after focus groups to say what's right for all your supermarkets, all your restaurants, all your chains. You just do it at simple places, rapid testing. And global reach. So that's all happening. All right, guys, exciting times. Does this spark some ideas for you guys of what you might want to do differently? Think about it. How much time do I have? 15? All right. So now the question is, as you think about all these forces, you've got to come up with ideas that could help you in the future for change. And you might ask, where do the ideas come from? Where do ideas come from? Where do your great ideas come from, guys? Hope, prayer, hope somebody will tell you. References. Well, there's a guy by the name of Steve Jobs who says, a genius is a person who connects the dots faster to create the big idea. He says that. A genius is somebody who can connect the dots faster to be able to create the new picture. Now, I think the reason he says that is because he used to do that all the time. So he wanted to say he's a genius, self-serving, right? But clearly, those with more dots are going to be better off, right? So you need to come up with a big idea, and you got to think about how do you get them? You need more dots. And let me explain why this is important. Think of this. If you only have 3 dots, what do you get when you connect them? And if you get 4, maybe a square. And as you increase the number of dots, it's going to get better. Right? So you need more dots. So to bring this story to life, I'm with my son. I'm in Boston. And I look at the night sky. And if I look carefully in the night sky of Boston, it's like Sao Paulo, too many lights. So you cannot really see a lot of stars up there. I can see the moon and a few stars up there. And it says, there, look. I said, Nirvan, look over there. That's Orion. And you guys know Orion? Orion's a really cool star where he stands like this. He's a warrior. And he's got arms like this. And I said, that's Orion. And he looks and he said, Papa, I see the moon. I see some dots. No, I don't see any Orion. Don't see anything. So then I take him to Arizona, which is a desert, out in the middle of the desert, in the night sky, and I look up. And you guys have been to those places where it's dark, and you look up, and what do you see in the sky? Lots of stars everywhere. It's just beautiful. And I says, look, that's Orion. And he looks and says, Papa, I see it. I see it. Because there's a lot more stars up there, a lot more dots up there. And so the question is, if you only have 3 stars in the night sky, what will you see up there? A triangle. And it is for that reason the people of the past were able to see beautiful things in the night sky, from dragons to bears and warriors. But if you asked our kids today in Sao Paulo, look in the sky and tell me what you see, what are they going to say? Triangle. Got it? So the first question for you guys is, do you guys have more dots? Because if those with more dots will have better pictures. Does that make sense? So where do you get your dots from? How do you get more dots? Information, reading, benchmarking, travel. So even this trip that Nelson was talking about, where you guys go to the US or you go somewhere else, you get more dots. You got to talk to other people. You got to talk to your customers. You got to talk to your suppliers. They all have dots for you, lots of dots. But if you don't have a lot of dots, they're going to come up with great pictures. So my question is, are you guys getting more dots? And if you're not getting more dots, then you're going to be stuck with just being a triangle. Got that? So step number 1 of innovation is you need to get more dots. And go out there, talk to customers, suppliers, talk to competitors, talk to your kids, talk to the taxi driver, talk to anybody who can tell you something. They will add a new dot. But don't talk to people who look just like you, because their dots will look exactly the same as your dots. Right? So talk to people who are different. Next, you need to connect the dots. Now, what if you guys have 4 dots and you connect it? What do you get? Let me try again before you yell out. What do you guys get when you get 4 dots and you connect them? A square. All right, great. What if I ask you to connect it again but do it differently? Can you see a different way to connect the 4 dots in your head? Yeah? All right, great. If I ask you to do it again, but different from the first 2 times. Are you guys doing it? Are you doing this exercise in your head? Is it different than the first 2? Great. All right. How about doing it again? Do it 1 more time. What do you get now? Is it still different? Are you struggling? Is there another way to connect the dots? If I push you to do this again and again and again, in my class, I make my students do this at least 20 times. Not just 4. Not just 4. I said, do it again and make sure it's different than the first 4, different than the first 5, different than the first 6. And we do it 20 times. At some point, people start doing things which are different. So the first time when you connected the dots, you connected them in the same way as everybody else. Boring. It was a square. How uninteresting is that? How innovative is that? So our habit to connect the dots is to use the rules that you grew up with. What rules did you apply? The rules from kindergarten. Connect the dots, straight lines, and that's what you did. Well done, but everybody else did the same thing because we're in the same thing, so we followed the rules. When you follow the rules, you get boring connections. When I said do it again, do it again, do it again, some of you started crossing the lines. Some of you had curved lines, and you started breaking the rules. And when you break the rules, now you come up with something which is different and better than the guys who just did it the first time. So by the 4th and the 5th time, you started getting something different. guys get that? Why? Because you broke the rules. And then if I ask you to do it again and again and again, now what happens? You start making the rules. You start making the rules. And when you start making the rules, you come up with something which is even better and different and really cool. So the problem is when we connect the dots the first time, we tend to connect it in the same way as everybody else. And the solutions we come up with is boring, really boring. If you do it again and do it again, then you start breaking some of the rules. When you break the rules, you come up with something different. But it requires you perseverance to connect, disconnect, reconnect, disconnect. You need to do it again and again. But the best people will do it again and again, and when they get tired, they go home and sleep and wake up in the morning and do it one more time. And that's when you finally come up with breakthrough ideas. Have you heard of the people who get eureka? They say, I was driving to work and I had this great idea. Or the guy was saying, I was taking a shower and a big idea came up to me while I was taking a shower. You heard of those guys? The same guy who says, I was eating breakfast and I wrote my idea on a napkin. Those guys didn't just come up with the first connection. They've been working, getting more dots, and then they've been trying to connect and reconnect and reconnect. And at some point they say, got it. Got it. And when they say got it, they say eureka. But there is never a eureka which comes without the hard work of getting more dots and the hard work of connecting and disconnecting and reconnecting. So the question for you guys is, as you try and think about what's next for your business, are you getting more dots? And then whatever dots you have, are you trying to connect and reconnect and disconnect to get there? That was the exercise you guys were going to do, right? So you're going to connect it again, do it again, do it again until you come up with something different and better. So guys, simplified. If you want to innovate, the rules are simple. First, you got to get smart. And how do you get smart? You need more dots. If you only have 3 dots, what do you get? A triangle. So you need to get more dots. And then if you get lots of dots and two people have the same amount of dots, then the person who's able to connect and reconnect and disconnect and reconnect will probably come up with something better. So don't be lazy. Don't give up on the first one. Right? Do it the second time and the third time and the fourth time. And that's how innovation happens. Now you have to implement these ideas, guys. How do you implement them? So the question for you is, you got to take this idea and you got to implement it because you come up with something cool. What does the journey look like from the left to the ball to the top right? You have to implement a great idea. You got to do change in your organization. How will it be? Will it be, if you're a CEO, how do you think the journey looks? Straight line, right? If you're a project manager, what does it look like? Step functions, yeah? The real journey is not going to be a straight line, but your CEO thinks that's what it's going to look like. If you use project management for innovation, you'll think that it's going to look like that. That's not how it's going to look like either. The real journey looks like this. There is no straight line on something that you have never done before. There is no recipe on how to do it easily and quickly. This is the same as the journey of the first people who came to the Amazon forest. And they're on one side and say, you got to go from one side of the Amazon to the other side. The journey is not a straight line. They got the guns, they got the backpack, they got the ropes, and they get ready to go into the Amazon. Nobody's been there before. And they walk and they see a river. You can't go straight across the river. You got to go to the left. Wrong choice. Now you go to the right. Maybe that's the right choice. Then you see a mountain. You don't go straight through a mountain. You got to go around it. Then you see some angry tribes. Got to come back. And you got to find a way to do things. But you have to keep on making decisions to go left or right and know that that right might be wrong. And from there, you learn how to do things differently. But the journey looks like this. It's the journey of exploration. Innovation is not a straight line, and you need help to get through this thing. When you try and climb Mount Everest, you take a Sherpa. You don't just go alone to do this kind of things because there are obstacles along the way. Now, if other people follow this journey, it begins to become a straight line because you tell them what not to do and what to do. But when you do it for the first time, there's nobody to tell you what not to do. therefore it's a journey of exploration. All right? So that's the question, you guys, in terms of executing breakthrough ideas. My thing is, you guys have to make your ideas bigger. And how do you make your ideas bigger? You need to get more dots. And with those dots, as you get smarter, then you got to connect them and reconnect them to come up with the big idea. And once you have a big idea, then you got to go on this journey to execute it, and the journey is not a straight line. And therefore, the best people who take this journey will take the best team with them, the best people with them. And some of them are on the inside, and some of them are on the outside. But don't take this journey alone, because it's a new journey. It's a journey of exploration. With that, I think I am almost out of things, so I can stop? Perfect. I'm going to just stop over here and basically say, guys, you guys are living in a really, really awesome time. I want to be very clear about this. The internet, the technology, everything is coming very fast. It allows everybody to be equally smart. Those who aim high are the ones who are probably going to get something out of this thing. Those who aim low are going to miss it. So you have to aim high. That's really important. Because if you don't aim high, then you aren't going to think differently. You aren't going to think in a new and different way. If you think low, then you can do incremental stuff and keep on surviving, but survival is not a good way to lead a life. You want to lead. If you want to lead, aim high. And if you aim high, you might get there. So with that, you guys, thank you very much. One thing, I've got our friend Fernando over here. He's been doing some research about the commerce in the US, and he's going to provide some specific information about that. So let me introduce Fernando.
Thank you, Hitendra. I'd like to ask your permission and start speaking Portuguese from this point on. Obrigado a todo mundo. Gostaria de iniciar minha apresentação agradecendo a senhora Kenia Somerville, o senhor Nelson, o senhor Ronald, um agradecimento especial ao Renato pela organização do evento. Deixa eu só pegar o... Colocar a apresentação. Acho que é só continuar a apresentação. Gostaria rapidamente de fazer uma breve apresentação do Fernando. Então, eu sou diretor da Boston Innovation Gateway aqui no Brasil, fico baseado aqui. Nos últimos 20 anos, eu tive algumas passagens pelo setor financeiro, principalmente no Banco Itaú. Eu tive a oportunidade de fazer a internacionalização do Banco Itaú, da Asset Management em Nova York. Então, fiquei sentado 1 ano em Nova York entendendo o mercado e fazendo a internacionalização, a abertura da Asset. Depois disso, eu saí do setor financeiro, fui para os Estados Unidos, onde eu concluí meu mestrado em Boston. E, na sequência, eu fui fazer um programa de liderança no Walmart, em Bentonville. Fiquei sentado 1 ano, especificamente no Sam's Club, olhando as questões de compra, cuidando da categoria de Health and Beauty Aids no país. É uma categoria que lá, à época, o faturamento era de aproximadamente, a venda era aproximadamente de 4 bilhões de dólares, só naquela categoria. Depois desse 1 ano, voltei para o Brasil e fiquei responsável por algumas categorias aqui no Sam's, e no começo desse ano, passei a fazer parte da equipe da Boston Innovation Gateway. Então, eu vou começar minha palestra falando um pouquinho de inovação de mercado. Quando a gente fala de internacionalização, a gente entende que a internacionalização é uma inovação e é uma inovação de mercado. E essa inovação de mercado, ela é um caminho que nós entendemos pela experiência que a gente tem com os trabalhos que fizemos ao longo dos anos, é o caminho que a gente entende que pode ser o mais fácil, o mais rápido da gente conseguir fazer o crescimento. Tá? Esse caminho pode ser também uma inovação de produto no próprio mercado, mas a gente entende que a internacionalização, uma busca de um novo mercado, é a forma mais fácil da gente crescer. Mas aí a gente pergunta o seguinte, onde nós vamos jogar, né? E aí eu trago uma informação interessante de uma empresa chamada Lifung. Ela é uma empresa que presta serviços de global source, é uma empresa que fica baseada em Hong Kong. E eu acho que aqui a grande mensagem desse slide, o faturamento é uma empresa com capital aberto, foi uma empresa que o ano passado faturou 16,1 bilhões de dólares. E a gente sabe que esse faturamento, ele é um faturamento menor do que 1% do total de transações que ela gerou de global sourcing. E a grande mensagem é que desse total, do total de faturamento dos 16 bilhões, aquela linha vermelha é o quanto que os Estados Unidos representa desse faturamento. O que isso significa? Significa que os Estados Unidos estão utilizando empresas de global sourcing buscando produtos para trazer para dentro dos Estados Unidos e vender ali. Então, eu acho que a grande oportunidade, onde a gente pode jogar, acho que é uma informação que traz esse insight para a gente, né? Dando sequência, o slide está um pouquinho poluído, mas eu acho que é importante a gente entender, os setores primários dos Estados Unidos são 19, e o ano passado esses setores geraram 18,4 trilhões de PIB em 2016. Quando a gente abre e explode esses setores e entra especificamente dentro do varejo, o varejo desses 18 representou 5 trilhões de dólares, ou seja, 27% do PIB. Então, quando a gente olha e faz uma comparação aqui com o Brasil, por exemplo, o varejo ano passado, se a gente olhar as 300 maiores empresas, até uma informação que vem da SPVC, e a gente compara, foi um faturamento aproximado de 160 bilhões de dólares em 2016, algo em torno de 550, 560 bilhões de reais. Então, acho que é um bom dado aí para a gente entender o tamanho do potencial do varejo. O próximo slide, ele traz, desses 5 trilhões, nós selecionamos os 9 principais que carregam, né, que trazem mais de 5 mil SKUs dentro dos seus estabelecimentos. E inclusive e-commerce, que pode chegar até 50 milhões de SKUs. A gente já enxergou isso daí. E acho que a grande mensagem aqui é que, às vezes, focar num nicho nos Estados Unidos, ele pode ser muito maior do que um mercado inteiro aqui no Brasil. Então, quando a gente fala de nicho, soa que é uma coisa pequena, mas não, ele pode ser muito maior do que o que a gente tem aqui no Brasil, o mercado inteiro. E aí, eu trago esse mapa dos Estados Unidos, porque, falando um pouquinho de nicho, que é um dado interessante, quando a gente vai jogar num nicho nos Estados Unidos e vai exportar para lá, normalmente as exportações elas acabam chegando nos portos dos Estados Unidos que estão mais perto dos locais onde os produtos são vendidos. Então, às vezes, quando a gente escolhe um nicho específico, isso daí acaba facilitando a questão logística da exportação, tá? Então, eu acho que aqui também é importante a gente pensar grande. Quando a gente decide fazer internacionalização, não pensar, eu vou ser mais um player nos Estados Unidos. Busquem o mercado onde vocês vão ganhar. Isso é o mais importante. E eu trago um exemplo aqui do Walmart, como exemplo. O Walmart, há 60 anos atrás, quase 60 anos atrás, ele fundou a sua primeira loja num estado chamado Arkansas, numa cidade chamada Bentonville, que não tinha absolutamente nada. E essa fundação, ela não foi por acaso. Eles decidiram entrar naquele mercado porque era um mercado que não estava sendo atendido por ninguém. E dali eles fizeram o crescimento da brand do Walmart. Então, pensem nisso. Talvez a questão de buscar um mercado que seja menor, mas que não esteja sendo atendido pelo teu produto, pela tua categoria, exatamente. Isso daí pode aumentar muito o awareness da tua marca e dali você pensar em expandir para o resto dos Estados Unidos. Eu vejo muitas empresas, por exemplo, buscando Flórida, buscando Califórnia, buscando Nova York. São mercados muito maduros, então talvez buscar um mercado que não esteja tão maduro seja a melhor saída para a gente tomar a decisão de internacionalizar a empresa. Fazendo a transição para o próximo slide, eu não vou conseguir passar por todos os formatos, mas eu fiz questão de trazer aqui quais são os principais canais de distribuição nos Estados Unidos. Então, ali a gente tem o formato retail, o formato de descontos, atacado clube de compras, e o formato de conveniência. E logo abaixo, o e-commerce. Então, por exemplo, no formato de retail, nós temos hipermercados, supermercados, esses são os canais de distribuição lá nos Estados Unidos. Eu queria tocar um pouquinho na questão do e-commerce especificamente. Eu acho que o próximo slide mostra bem aqui a evolução do e-commerce nos últimos anos. É um canal de distribuição que começou em 1998, ele vem crescendo duplo dígito, às vezes triplo dígito anualmente, e o ano que vem, ele vai se tornar o segundo maior tipo de estabelecimento dentro da área de varejo, já no ano que vem, 2018. Em 2023, ele vai se tornar o segundo maior. Então, é um canal que hoje em dia a gente não pode pensar se a possibilidade de não estar. Essa eu acho que é a grande mensagem, tá? E ir para o e-commerce, ele aumenta a possibilidade de você expor os produtos e colocar mais SKUs, tá certo? Globalmente falando. Dando sequência aqui em e-commerce ainda, nos Estados Unidos, o e-commerce, normalmente, ele é dividido em 3 categorias. Eu acho que as 2 primeiras são as mais conhecidas, que é o B2B e o B2C, mas existe uma terceira que eu acho que é bastante importante, e o professor Patel comentou, a questão do fim, né? Não vai mais existir o middleman, não vai mais existir o representante comercial. Hoje o e-commerce permite que você faça vendas diretamente, né? Você, pessoa física para pessoa física. É essa a ideia aqui. E aí a pergunta que fica é o seguinte, mas espera aí, qual o melhor canal para um determinado produto? Eu coloco o meu produto no online ou eu coloco o meu produto numa loja física, né? E aí eu trago esses 2 grandes exemplos que o Hitendra comentou. O primeiro é a Amazon. Recentemente a Amazon fez a aquisição do Whole Foods, e aí a gente está enxergando o maior player, um dos maiores players de e-commerce do mundo, indo para lojas físicas, né? E aqui a gente não sabe exatamente, a gente não tem uma visão clara de qual será o resultado disso, mas eles estão indo para a loja física. E do outro lado, a gente vê um crescimento do Walmart, crescimento muito grande, com mais de 100% de crescimento nos últimos 3 anos. Então, acho que é importante fazer essa comparação de 2 grandes players buscando os opostos do ponto de vista de canal. Eu acho que essa é uma informação importante, cada um tem as suas cartas na mão, mas quem vai ganhar o jogo? Essa fica a pergunta aí no ar, acho que o Hitendra já colocou isso daí, acho que é uma informação importante. Detalhe, o site de e-commerce do Walmart, ano passado, foi o 3º site mais visitado nos Estados Unidos, site de e-commerce. Então, eles estão chegando lá, a gente percebe que mais e mais eles estão investindo de colocar os seus produtos, conseguem hoje ter 40, 50 milhões de SKUs, quando você compara com uma loja, um supercenter, no máximo tem 50, 55 mil SKUs. Então vejam o tamanho da oportunidade aí em e-commerce. Eu acho que a grande mensagem não dá para ficar fora do e-commerce, busquem esse canal. Aqui trazendo um pouquinho de aprendizados que nós tivemos aí nos últimos trabalhos que fizemos em internacionalização, eu acho que são perguntas importantes aqui, né, que são as seguintes, né? Quais são os canais de distribuição do player que você está querendo colocar o seu produto? Qual é o posicionamento de produto? Qual é o posicionamento de preço? Qual a estratégia da categoria? Eu acho que esse tipo de informação ela é super relevante no momento que você vai decidir fazer a tua internacionalização, porque isso daí são conectar os pontos, os dots que o Hitendra estava comentando. Acho que buscar sempre as respostas para essas questões. Aí, a partir desse slide aqui, gente, eu vou trazer um exemplo de um comprador de bebidas e alimentos dos Estados Unidos, de um grande varejista. O que ele está pensando quando ele está desenhando a estratégia da categoria dele? Acho que a gente consegue auxiliar um pouco aqui. Então, a primeira coisa que eles param para olhar, quando eles estão desenhando as estratégias de categoria, são as tendências globais da categoria que ele está desenhando a estratégia. Então, Nesse caso aqui, eu não vou passar uma por uma, mas na linha verde mais escura ali, a gente consegue enxergar quais são as grandes tendências, né, da categoria. Então, ele começa decidindo, para decidir os itens que ele vai colocar dentro da sua loja, ele começa com as tendências, né? Passando aqui, o próximo olhar detalhado de um comprador é quais são as necessidades dos clientes deles. Então, eu acho que eu vou passar o primeiro aqui, que é o primeiro quadrado ali, que está escrito na moda irrelevante. Eu acho bem legal esse primeiro bullet point aqui, que ele diz, eu vou chegar mais perto que eu não estou enxergando. Ele diz, eu gosto de ir a um varejista que seja inovador e que me ajude a sentir que estou no topo das tendências alimentares. Olha que coisa interessante. Isso daqui é um cliente falando que tipo de varejista que ele gosta de ir. E esse é um caso específico. Então, acho que é importante entender, quando você pensa em colocar seu produto fora do Brasil, nos Estados Unidos, por exemplo, é importante entender o que é relevante para o cliente daquele varejista, né? Aí aqui, mostrando um pouquinho a conexão da estratégia corporativa com a estratégia da categoria, eu acho que a grande mensagem desse slide é a questão da inovação. A última linha aqui, ela fala quais são os componentes que aquele comprador utiliza para fazer a ativação da estratégia dele. Então, inovação é o segundo maior componente aí para a definição da estratégia. Acho que é um fator importante também. Outra questão é a proposta de valor do produto que você está colocando. O que isso traz de proposta de valor, né? Eu acho que, por exemplo, esse exemplo aqui que está em amarelo, oportunidade de aumento de tamanho. Qual é o valor que você e o varejista estão conseguindo capturar quando vocês fazem? Não adianta só, vou levar um pacote maior, porque isso vai gerar uma venda maior. Isso está gerando a gente está gerando uma proposta de valor melhor para o consumidor que vai comprar o produto? Essa é a grande questão. Tendência e relevância, falar um pouquinho de snackificação, né? Isso é uma tendência, e aí começa a trazer outra tendência de health, que se junta a questão de snacks com health, você vê um movimento muito grande, outro olhar que o comprador tem quando ele está decidindo lá a estratégia da categoria. Acho que esse exemplo é sensacional, porque ele é um exemplo no momento do Super Bowl, que eles trazem um item que é uma asinha de frango, que naquela semana ela cresce 283% a venda, só pela mudança de visual e colocar o item em local diferente. Ou seja, o que os fornecedores estão auxiliando os varejistas a conseguir chegar num crescimento desse? Acho que é esse o olhar que tem que ter para auxiliar os varejistas lá. Mais uma vez, a ativação da estratégia, né, atender as regiões com itens diferentes tem sido uma estratégia muito adotada nos Estados Unidos. Então, você pega, por exemplo, vou de novo citar o Walmart, você vai numa loja numa certa região, que vê um item que é específico daquela região, você vai em outra localidade e você vê outro tipo de item. Você vê itens, por exemplo, com coisas específicas do Estado. Acho que é bastante importante esse tipo de auxílio, tá? Aqui, visitas ao mercado. Então, esse slide, ele traz qual é o processo que o comprador utiliza para trazer inovação para dentro do varejista. E aí, gente, eu tenho 2 slides aqui para terminar a apresentação, que são os insights que a gente entende que são os insights-chave, né? O primeiro é que quando a empresa decide se internacionalizar, e quando ela vai sozinha para essa empreitada, o timing disso é no mínimo 1 ano e meio, 2. Esse é o aprendizado que a gente tem tido. Ao passo que, se ela faz de uma forma mais profissional essa internacionalização, esse prazo consegue ser reduzido em até 6 meses, né? E a forma que a gente tem visto, por exemplo, isso daqui, eu vou trazer um exemplo de um processo de internacionalização muito já testado e utilizado, onde na primeira parte, que são 3 meses, é o processo de geração de ideias, de conceituação, conexão de pontos, que foi o que o Hitendra colocou, e na sequência é a execução, é aquela famosa linha tortuosa que a gente entende que em 3 meses, de uma forma profissional, a empresa consegue se internacionalizar. Então, com isso, gente, eu agradeço a participação de todos, agradeço a presença, espero que eu tenha trazido algumas informações importantes aí no processo de internalização das empresas. Obrigado.
Thank you, Mr. Patel. Obrigado, Fernando. Mr. Patel, if you can put your... Bom, nós vamos iniciar a questão de perguntas e respostas. Antes disso, a Associação Comercial fez uma ficha de avaliação do evento. Todos vocês têm isso, menos você que eu já vou te dar, que eu peguei a sua, e pede para que vocês preencham. Nós deveríamos começar a sessão de reuniões individuais 10h30. Quem tem esse horário marcado, não se preocupe, a gente vai acomodar, ok? Quando a gente descer, eu vou dar esse anúncio ainda sobre as reuniões individuais, e naquele item que vocês viram, procurar importador nos Estados Unidos, vai ser com o Fernando, ok? Bom, nós vamos abrir então, pelo tempo que a gente já está estourado, para 2 ou 3 perguntas. Vocês tendo interesse, por favor, levante a mão. Tem os microfones, apertou o botãozinho, quando ficou vermelho, é só soltar a pergunta. Pode fazer em português, se for o caso, porque a intérprete já vai fazer a pergunta para o Dr. Patel em inglês. Vamos lá? Perguntas?
Vou começar aqui, Renato.
Ok.
Primeiro, parabéns pela apresentação. Eu queria aqui uma opinião sua. Nós, não diferente, eu acho que de muitos países, e por ser um país continental, temos diversas condições dentro do país, né? E essa questão da inovação, ela vem como um tsunami, varrendo algumas empresas. Em primeiro lugar, na sua opinião, as empresas de maior porte estão mais vulneráveis a essa mudança do que as pequenas? Lembrando que aqui a Associação Comercial, ela representa, em grande parte, os menores empresários, né? O Brasil tem, dentro do varejo, um pouco mais de 95%, 96% das empresas como pequenas empresas, né? Então, essa é a primeira questão. E a segunda, o que a gente chama de inovação não seria simplesmente o que o varejo sempre foi, que é conhecer o seu cliente, né? Então, eu tenho um sócio amigo que ele fala que data is the new oil, né? Ou seja, a gente tem que pegar e refinar a informação. Estrelas, como você colocou, eu acho que a gente vem sendo bombardeado diariamente na internet, enfim, hoje, ao contrário, a gente se sente até um pouco, entre aspas, burro, de não conseguir absorver tanta informação ao mesmo tempo, né? Então, seria esse o grande ponto para o varejo se, entre aspas, inovar, ou seja, conhecer melhor o seu cliente, que eu acho que é o que a Amazon vem fazendo de forma brilhante e por isso vem conquistando espaço. Não sei se ficou clara a pergunta.
Yeah, it's a great question, and there's a lot of questions you asked actually. So the first thing is, I think big companies struggle more than small companies in change. Big companies have organization structures, big companies have processes, big companies have systems, and to change something, you have to be careful because it can affect a lot of things. So big companies are the ones which get disrupted. The small companies, because they're small, 2 things are in place. The decision making is close to the CEO. The CEO is also the innovation director or innovation manager. So they're all the same people. So whatever you want to do to change, the CEO is already there and the change can happen quickly. In a big company, change happens in managers telling the CEO what they need to do, and decisions are slow. So I think small companies in your association should be able to be more nimble, more flexible, and faster. So they need to respond. Then the second question was about customers and know your customers and know them well. I think that's true, but the trouble for the first time is the customer is changing much faster with 2 or 3 things. The millennial culture is very different than the people who run the stores. or the retail outlets, right? And as millennials are learning faster than the people before. 25, 30 years ago, knowledge, education, and change was much slower. So now the devices change faster, the technology changes, the apps they use change, and everything changes too quickly. I mean, we used to use Explorer. Nobody uses Explorer anymore. We used to use Yahoo. Nobody uses Yahoo anymore. Things change very quickly. So the customer is a millennial. The technology is changing fast. So, and you are not a millennial usually, and you are not fast in changing with the technology. So be careful that when you say, listen to the customer, are you really able to listen to the customer and adapt to the change which happens there? Data is the new oil. There's no doubt. Collecting data, we've always known that. So we used to collect the addresses, we collect business cards in the old days in a jar to make sure we knew who they were. Now we collect it through email. Now we collect it through SMS or phones. The rules of business have not changed. But how it gets done is a lot different and a lot faster. And that's important. And then behind the data is now we used to have Excel. But now you've got even better technology in Excel to quickly tell you which customer is the best customer, which customer is spending the most money, and that changes. And then the other part of all this technology is there used to be marketing and there used to be sales. They were separate. Today, marketing and sales have become one. The moment you make a customer aware of your product is the moment when you try and sell to them. Before you used to do awareness, marketing, and then there was sales. Now they become one. And at Apple, for example, at the Apple store, those guys even move the cash register where you actually pay for things right at the point of purchase. When you try and buy a computer, at that moment, they already take your credit card. So they're compressing the time of distance of awareness to making a sale, to making the decision to collect the money, all now. So things are changing. Just be aware of it, that the rules of business haven't changed. The distance got closer and the time got less.
Aqui.
Okay. I have a question regarding the middleman. Let's say, when you see like a country like Brazil, for instance, that you have millions of small commercial doors, millions, they are very split. They are much bigger than the big markets. And they rely today on importers, distributors that deliver a good service for them, because they don't have the power to import or to buy sometimes directly from the industry. So this middleman question in countries like Brazil keeps me thinking a lot, because they are so important for these small sales doors. So the question is, would be the sales doors, the millions of these small commercial companies who are going to disappear for the big ones, or the middleman?
So I'll share two stories maybe. The first one is, anybody from Sanofi over here? From a pharmaceutical company called Sanofi? Yeah, Sanofi. So Sanofi makes drugs. And they make drugs for over the counter. So at all the drogerias over here, the drugs on the shelves. They worry that the shelf is sometimes empty. They want to make sure that drug is on that shelf. So they put pressure on the middleman, saying, go, make sure the shelf's always full. They're not happy. They're not happy because when they walk around and they look at the real shelves of the drogeria, some of the shelves are empty. So the middlemen are not doing a good enough job for Sanofi. So Sanofi is saying, what if we create the distribution? What if we create the cash register and we monitor your inventory? What if we manage your inventory so we can forecast what's going to happen? So from the business perspective of Sanofi, they want to make sure every shelf is full. If the middleman is failing in any way because he's lazy or he's doing something else because he's busy, because he's going to a wedding or a vacation, that's not business. Sanofi needs that shelf full. So those middlemen are at risk, especially when the price of the product is high and the loss of a sale, the cost of a loss of a sale is high. Now, there are some segments where the middleman is going to be important. the guy who delivers the potato chips for Frito-Lay on every store shelf. And make sure the shelves have potato chips. The cost is low, but you need to have middlemen doing it. So I think some of the middlemen are disappearing, and some of them are going to stay, but it'll be on a ratio of where the price of the product is high, the supplier is going to try and own it, and where the price of the thing is low, then they'll let the middleman manage it. But I don't know the exact matrix, but middlemen, watch out, because the people who are manufacturing want their product on the shelves. And if you aren't putting it on the shelf, they'll find another way through the internet. And they're doing a lot of research, and they're investing a lot of money on how to make sure the shelf is never out. And that's the expression, never out.
Ok, vamos para a nossa última pergunta aqui.
Professor, a gente então... Okay. Professor, então a gente ligando os pontos de tudo que a gente tem aprendido, lido e visto em palestras, a inovação é extremamente importante, né, para todos nós. Mas a inovação tem que estar somada à velocidade. Inovação sem velocidade, a gente também não vai chegar onde a gente precisa. É isso? Ligando os pontos, é isso que a gente precisa olhar? Inovação junto com velocidade.
So I think I'm glad you said what you said, and it's exactly right. Innovation means you have to be willing to do something new and different. And that's a mindset and a willingness to do new and different things. The second part of this, you have to capture value, money from it. And if you don't capture money from it, then it's a waste, whatever new things you're doing differently. And the only way you capture value is to go fast. And why do you need to go fast? There's two reasons. One is competition. Competition, if you're not going fast, competition will go faster. So you need to go fast. But there's something else also. Your management, your bosses also will lose interest if you don't get results quickly. And the trouble with innovation, sometimes it takes time. And time is your enemy. Because internally, the team fatigues and gets not excited anymore. So you got to keep the energy inside up by going fast. And the best way to get the energy high is get results. And the way to go fast is don't go at it alone. Find partners. There are other people who know how to do things, who have already made the mistakes, and ask them to go through the Amazon forest, but use a Sherpa to go with you so you don't make the same mistakes. Now, you might say, I have to spend money or I got to share the profit with somebody else. Yes, but you'll go faster and the pie will be bigger. So don't always go at it alone. If you go at it alone, of course you can learn it. If you need somebody with an MBA, you can go to get an MBA, 2 years. Just hire an MBA right now. Do things now. Don't wait for tomorrow. We have an expression, it's an Indian expression, and I'm sure in Portuguese you have it also. Whatever you can do tomorrow, do today. Whatever you can do today, do now. Yeah.
Thank you. E eu sei que tem mais pessoas interessadas em fazer pergunta, mas professor Patel, com o Manuel vão ficar disponíveis na mesa. Vocês podem fazer isso pessoalmente, que o nosso horário já estourou e eu preciso começar a descer as pessoas. O senhor pode se aproximar à mesa e fazer essa pergunta pessoalmente aqui. Nós vamos, então, terminando essa sessão de perguntas e respostas, pedir para aqueles que já têm o agendamento pronto, descer para o 12º andar, onde tem uma mesa chamada Reuniões Agendadas. Para os que não estão agendados, tem uma mesa chamada Encaixe. Fale com a equipe que está lá embaixo. Nós vamos subir, na verdade, para o 12º andar, na sala Henry. Mais uma vez e rapidamente, tudo que vocês ouviram, as reuniões que estarão disponíveis lá, e já peço para que as equipes de Boston, Gateway, Drummond e a Excel, por favor, também já comecem a subir. E investimentos, arranjo tributário para pessoa física e jurídica nos Estados Unidos, benefícios para estabelecer sua empresa nos Estados Unidos, expatriação de executivo e visto para residir nos Estados Unidos, processo de abertura de empresa no mercado norte-americano. Importação e exportação, como negociar no mercado americano, encontrar compradores ou encontrar fornecedores. Nós agradecemos mais uma vez e eu passo a palavra ao senhor Nelson Queirala, quem vai encerrar o evento. Nelson.
Ok. Bom, agradecendo aqui a presença da Mrs. Kenia Somerville, do Mr. Hitendra Patel, aqui também presentes na mesa o Manuel e o Fernando, ao Ronald Nossig, que vice-presidente da SBBC, que nos apoiou. Quero também agradecer a presença da vice-presidente da Federação das Associações Comerciais do Estado de São Paulo, Adriana Flose, que veio aqui nos prestigiar. E, mais uma vez, agradecer a todos vocês que estiveram aqui presentes e que a casa está sempre aberta a todos para que venham participar dos nossos eventos. Muito obrigado.
Então, Fernando, é a sua primeira reunião. Já desce, já sobe os dois, que essa é a sua primeira reunião.